Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am participating in Mixed Media Monday over at the Hip Kit Club blog today, and I'm starting right away with a little bit of mixed media. I am using Mango Tango, which comes in the mixed media kit, the color kit, excuse me, and I am using it on that giant today. That is one of the Dear Lizzie um, words that came in the embellishment add-on. And today I'm working with the 12 by 12 watercolor paper that came in the color kit. And right here you'll see me adding a torn piece of paper from the exclusive paper actually that came in the main kit. And it is designed by Kimberly Hutchison, and it's gorgeous. I love it, and I love the colors in it. And so it's kind of where I've gotten my inspiration for this layout, was from that paper because I really wanted to use it. So I know that that's where my photo is going to go, and I apologize for part of the layout being off screen. I think in a little bit here I'll move it up. I don't realize it as I'm making this. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the Old Yeller, which is an Inklings, and I am splattering it all over the background of my paper. This Inklings is beautiful and golden and very shimmery, and it's perfect. Um, what you see me using is I'm just using the acrylic block that you would use if you were going to use acrylic stamps, and I am just using that as something to put my watercolor on so that I can add a little bit extra water to it to make it splatter a little bit better. The other thing that I'm doing there is I'm squeezing the brush so that it'll make those big splatters all over. That's the idea anyway. And then finally you're going to see me just go ahead and grab that block, and I'm going to just smash it on the page for lack of a better word. I'm just going to smush it on there to go behind my photo, and the idea is that I want some of that yellow to show up around the outside of my photo. I didn't realize I'm just blotting up the excess here, mostly out of impatience. Okay, so first I'm going to get that watercolor paper pretty wet with just spraying. I was just spraying some water on there. It just flows so nicely, and I can turn my paper, use a little bit of my brush, add some more water, and when I turn my paper, it just moves around on the page really nicely. And because I'm using the watercolor paper, it doesn't really affect it. It doesn't really crinkle up. It does a little bit while you're working on it, but then as it dries, dries pretty flat. So I'm adding more water on the edges because I want it to go out just a little bit further, and it will only go where there's water. So it doesn't drip unless you hold it for a really long time. It's not gonna drip onto the dry paper. It's kind of interesting how that works. Now I'm just blotting up just a little bit, partially because I am impatient, but also I didn't want it to be quite as bold as the splatters. Too fast. So I'm super impatient, so I decided I'm just going to go ahead and get out my heat gun and dry that the best I can. So it's pretty dry now, and you can see that the paper has crinkled just a little bit, but that goes away as I'm working with it. So I'm using one of the Project Life cards behind my photo. It has great stripes just to add a little bit of color. And then right there you see me, I'm kind of playing around with some of I cut it out with my silhouette. So the cut file I think Jessica made these, and they're beautiful flowers. And I'm just kind of playing around with the flowers and where am I going to put today. And I pulled all of the leaves out of the die cut, and then with the exception of the green ones, I just didn't want to add another color to the page, and so I just pulled just kind of a gray neutral color, and then the yellow and the reddish pink colors. And I pulled those out and decided that I wanted to kind of sprinkle those across the page. And you'll see those move around quite a bit actually. The other thing that I found in the die cuts, it says choose your own way, and it's a hexagon shape. Um, and I am going to actually use a circle punch and turn it into a circle later, I think. So right now I'm just kind of trying to see what I have for leaves and what I want to put around my photo to embellish it a little bit. I'm not going to add any other like pattern paper layers or anything like that. Just I think I add some, and maybe I've already added it off camera, but I think I did add some tissue paper behind my photo, and then I added some foam adhesive just to lift it up off the page a little bit. So when you see me going off screen, I'm trying to find a few more leaves, and I end up running out of leaves here eventually, but I'll show you kind of what I did inventive way to add a few more. So what I've decided to do is I'm taking this gorgeous paper. Actually, when I first saw these kits online, the two papers that I thought were the most gorgeous that just stood out to me, there were really three. One was a Jen Hatfield that has all the flowers on it, and then this paper that I'm using right here with the fall leaves on it, and then the exclusive paper that I'm actually using on this layout. So those by far were my favorites, and I've used lots of each piece. I'm glad I have two of each one though, so it helps me cut into it a little bit better. A little bit easier to cut into when you know you have a spare. So once again, all I'm doing here is I'm backing a few flowers, and then I'm just trying to figure out what's the best placement for them on this layout. I want it all to kind of stay in that vertical line there with the today and the picture. And I know I'm going to add some thread, so I pull out some thread, and it's actually a pretty good kind of mustardy color. And then I decide, oh my goodness, this has that gold in it, that hexagon. Now I'm looking for my circle punch is what I'm doing here. That hexagon piece that I'm changing into a circle right now has gold in it, so I decide that to actually pull out my gold thread again and put the gold thread behind everything instead of putting that other thread. So I have used more gold threads this month with the October kits probably than I have in my lifetime, because the gold just matches and works so well with all the colors of this kit, and there's just something about it, I guess, that makes me think fall. And since a lot of these are a lot of the photos and a lot of the um, other elements in the kit are very fall-ish, that helps with the gold pieces too. I apologize. It is like 1 o'clock in the morning here as as I am doing this voiceover. I had to wait until everybody was in bed and asleep, and um, I'm a little bit tired. We've had we have 7 birthdays in our family in the month of October. And so we have had birthday celebration after birthday celebration. Um, and so I'm just kind of fitting everything in is hard to do when when you're gone a lot. So that means 1 o'clock in the morning voiceovers. So all I'm doing here, and what you're going to see me do for a lot of the rest of this actually, is just kind of moving the flowers around. And I do end up walking away, the flowers and the leaves. In a few minutes here, I'm going to walk away. I feel like it's done, but I almost always, as I'm working, even when I feel like it's done, I walk away and come back and often I'll take a picture of it before I walk away, and I kind of look at that photograph and think, is there anything I need to change? And actually, I do end up coming back and changing something from this basic idea here. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding some gold thread in 2 or 3 spots. And I haven't glued anything yet because that's just kind of the way I work. And so because I haven't glued anything, everything's very, it's a little bit tedious to do this, but I also kind of want to know what it's going to look like before I glue it down to make sure it's what I want. And I'm glad I didn't glue it down because I do end up changing the flowers at the bottom. And here's where I'm coming back, and I've decided I really need some more leaves and I want to move some of them underneath the photo. So I added another flower, I think. And then what I've done here, and I've sped this up because mostly what I'm doing is you're going to see me gluing things down. Um, but what I did is I grabbed those right there. They are from the puffy stickers, and there's a row of leaves that are all attached. And I cut off the ones that I wanted, and the colors do overlap a bit, but I just hid the other color underneath it, if that makes sense. So I needed more of those leaves, and I just didn't have any more, and so that was how I solved that problem. And I I may have used that in another layout at some point because I really did like the puffy sticker, but you know what? I love it on this layout, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay that I used it. So now I'm just gluing everything down. My thought was that my title would be I kind of went back and forth between using that die cut that says be true to you today and the choose your own way today. I thought both of them kind of fit with what I'm doing here. And here I am popping up a couple of the leaves just for some dimension. This is a picture of my daughter during homecoming week and Spirit Week around here. One of the days, Wacky Wednesday is usually what it is, and her hair is all crazy, and she's wearing clothes inside out and backwards, and all sorts of things. So I'm adding a few more little pieces from the die cut pack, and that is about it. I think I come back in and add a few more splatters here, and then I add some black splatters, I think, and then that will be it. I did forget to put the date on this, so I'll have to go back and do that. Because I I just forgot, and I'll want to make sure that I have that on there. And I'm just kind of toying with, do I need to add any more elements here or not? And I decide not to. So I forgot. I do end up adding a few of the black stars. Since I have a black photograph, I wanted to add some black things on it. And so I am adding a few more of the golden perfect color of splatters, a little bit on my photograph, a little bit right over the top of the flowers. And then I'm going to come in with some black shimmers. I think it's called Midnight Moves or something like that for my stash, and add a few black splatters. That's always the last thing I do because inevitably if I add black splatters, I will smear them. I don't know why. So I always do it last and then let it dry before I touch it. Here come the close-ups. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you're inspired at least a little by it. And I can't wait to see what you make. I can't wait to see you upload those in the member forum. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.